Kidding me. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. What is this? There was no warnings anything was wrong before I started. Now I've got that dark overlay over the screen for the entire podcast. Hello, hello. I am giving up with YouTube. I can't work it out, folks. I can't work it out. Hello, hello. Quick swig of coffee, dry mouth. Give it a few seconds while we wait for other people to arrive. Say hello in chat if you can. Okay, folks. This is TrampCast, episode 42, Sunday, August the 25th, 2024. Exactly 4 months to Christmas. May I be the first to wish you a very Merry Christmas. I did that back in June, and maybe even as far back as March. I am Delta Mike. The channel is Down and Out in Torrevieja. Down and out. A tramp. A hobo. A vagrant. An indigent person. A person of no fixed abode. A bum. Someone who sleeps rough. Someone who lives on the streets. Or in my case, in a field. Okay, folks. I'm going to struggle with chat because I've got this dark overlay over the screen right from the off. I'm guessing that might be Jack Attack from all the symbols, but I couldn't actually read it. Let me see whether I can bring it back. I can see a J at the beginning, so probably Jack Attack. Hello, my friend. I don't know what the score is with YouTube. I hesitated before going live. I'm not sure I had the screen the right way around. I started it. It didn't warn there was anything wrong with orientation. 2 seconds into the stream, black overlay, orientation is locked. Rotate the device back. I don't know if it's my phone. I don't know if it's the YouTube app. I don't know if it's me doing something wrong when I set up the stream. I'm struggling with orientation. What can you do? Okay, we'll give it a couple of minutes while we wait for people. If we could hit the thumbs up, that always helps. Share it out there. Tell people. Maybe after the show, maybe during the show, however, whatever works best for you. Say hello in chat. If everyone says hello, then we'll know that there's somebody here. If you're not subscribed, please consider it. It's a little thing for you, but it's a big signal to YouTube, and it helps me out, which, you know, that's the whole point of this channel, to be fair, given my living circumstances. Help me out. And hopefully provide a little bit of entertainment for you guys. I don't know. Tina girl. Oh, we haven't said hello to Tina yet, have we? Let's see what I can do. I need to take my sponge off there. Here she is. There's my girl. Hey, babe. Say hello to the peoples. You're not eating your food. Stop scratching. Stop. Are we back with me? We're back. Let me put my sponge back on. Otherwise, it's quite a blowy day. You'll have the wind in the microphone. You may anyway, but it reduces it somewhat. Okay, folks. Have we all said hello in chat? I didn't see anybody except for Jack Attack. Hey, Tina, where are we going? Where are we going? You come over here just to burp. Thanks. That's my girl. Okay. Okay, where are we? Oh, in case you joined late, you might want to check the live indicator, bottom left. You're looking for the word live and a red dot. If I'm still broadcasting, you'll see the word live. If you're up to date, you see a red dot. If you're lagging behind, you won't. You need to click the word live to bring you up to date with me, and that way you won't be commenting on things that I said an hour ago and being all out of sync with the rest of chat, like I often am when I'm watching Scruff Dog on a Saturday night. Okay, folks, this is TrampCast episode 42. We begin with the numbers section. This is episode 42, and therefore some facts about the number 42. You lucky people. Number 42, it's the product of three prime numbers. If you multiply 2 by 3 by 7, 2 by 3 gets you 6, by 7 gets you 42. It's also the sum of 6. It's the sum of 6 non-zero even numbers, not prime. The sum of 6 even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Add them together, 42. Here's one. I like this one. I've liked this fact ever since I first learnt it as a kid. When you see a rainbow, if you're in a group of people and you see a rainbow, you're all looking at your own unique individual rainbow. And it's caused by water inside, light shining through a water droplet and coming out at a 42-degree angle to your sight. 42 degrees for a rainbow. Here's another one. If somebody calculated this, I don't think it's possible, but if you were to do a hollow tube straight through the earth, and if you could maintain a vacuum through that tube, if you dropped through it, you could kind of have a train or something go through it, but dropped, not powered. You would drop through under the power of gravity, accelerating towards the centre, and then as you come through the centre and out the other side, gravity would cause you to decelerate, and you should stop exactly at the surface at the other side, and the journey time, 42 minutes. It'd be great if they could actually make that. The only problem is there's hardly anywhere on planet Earth where there's land on the Antipodean sides. There's very few places where you've got land on one side and land on the other. You would tend to come out in an ocean on the other side. Tina girl, Tina, let's stop. Don't make me shout. Okay. Now this idea of a tube through the earth, it was worked out in the 60s by a mathematician, but it was first proposed by Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice in Wonderland, a lot of years beforehand, a lot of years earlier. Can't read that, sorry. Drop a submarine, yeah, that'd do. Of course, you've got to stop all the water coming down the tube from the other side. But yeah, but 42-minute journey time through the Earth. Gravity, acceleration, deceleration. Okay, religion. There tends to be quite a few. For any number you pick, it seems that the Bible and other religious texts are full of numbers. Apparently, God, in his infinite wisdom, God allowed a bear to kill 42 young men or boys because they mocked Elijah for his baldness. So if you mock somebody because they're bald, God allows a bear to come and kill you. Apparently 42 of them got mauled this way. Don't know if they died, it says mauled, but there you go. Now the Israelites, as they did the Exodus from Egypt, there are 42 stations, 42 places that they stopped on the journey. I minimised, I didn't want to have too many from from the religious side of things, but I took a few. In Judaism, the Talmud, 42-lettered name of God. I'd not heard of this one. I knew the Tetragrammaton, which is the 4-letter name of God, which basically comes out as something approaching Yahweh, which gets translated or transliterated into Jehovah and a few other variations. But apparently there's a 42-letter name of God as well, and a 12-letter one that I didn't know about. You live and you learn. The Gutenberg Bible has 42 lines per page. And in Japan, the number 42 is considered unlucky, because if you sound out the 4 and the 2, you get shini, which is close to the Japanese word for dying. So the number 42 is considered unlucky in Japan. Now we get to the most obvious one, and the one that this episode is partially named after. 42, the answer to life, the universe, and everything, according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Earth was a computer that was built to solve the... they built a computer first to solve and they got the answer 42, and then they built the Earth to find out what the question was. I think it was that way around. It's a long time ago since I watched it. But Douglas Adams, of course, who was famous for writing all sorts of nonsense. Deliberate nonsense, but fun. Turns out that the question was 6 times 9. And there you go, why the universe is fundamentally screwed up. If the answer to 6 times 9 comes out as 42, you got something wrong, haven't you? Okay, international direct dialing codes. No longer in use, the number 42 as a standalone number on the international direct dialing. Used to be for Czechoslovakia, but Czechoslovakia ceased to be in 1993, although the number 42 continued to be shared by the 2 new countries, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. But then it was decided to stop using 42 as a standalone number, and the Czech Republic became 420 and Slovakia became 421. So 42 isn't used as a standalone number for international direct dialing. And finally, folks, we've always got one. Until we get to somewhere around 110, I think it is nowadays, we'll continue to have one. From the periodic table, 42 is the atomic number for molybdenum, with the symbol MO, which comes from the Latin molybdos, which actually means lead. Yeah. I thought about 420 when I should have mentioned it. I thought about that when I was writing the notes. 420, the Czech Republic. Yeah. So the molybdenum is named after a Latin molybdos, which is related to lead, and this is because lead ores are often confused with the ores that contain molybdenum. Now, it's never found naturally as a free metal. It's always found in combination with other elements. It always needs to be processed to get it free. It has the 6th highest melting point of all known substances in the periodic table. It's a hard, stable. It forms hard, stable carbides in alloys, and for this reason, 80% of it is used in steel alloys, including high strength and things known as super alloys, which have the ability to remain in use when they get critically close to their melting point. They still remain stable until very close to their actual melting point when they start to give. 14% of molybdenum is used for pigments and also as catalysts in reactions, and it's also used in nature. Almost all living things, almost all multicellular, I was going to say animals, creatures, I don't know, whatever the word is. We're including like molds and yeasts and everything, almost everything, except for the really most basic, most primitive life forms, use molybdenum as part of a process of extracting nitrogen. Says Stitch, hello my friend, you're here early again. So yeah, it's used by plants and animals in a number of ways because of its catalytic properties. It's used by a lot of enzymes. So basically it's essential for most of the life on Earth. Now you know. Folks, episode 42 of TrampCast, and that was the numbers for the number 42. Okay folks, quick swig. Got a bit of red wine. As I mentioned already folks, I'm struggling with this screen orientation message again. It let me in okay, no warnings before I got here, fully 2 seconds in, and then the black overlay and the orientation is locked message. Really is getting on my wick. Try and keep it clean this week. I lost a lot of subscribers early in the week, and I think it's because of the clips of the old videos with there's quite a bit of swearing. I guess I've been on a bit of a ranty mood lately. So we'll try and keep it a little bit cleaner this time. See if we can't entice a few people back. I'm not a bad lad, really. Thumbs up, guys, if you wouldn't mind. Guys and gals. Okay, we've done the numbers. Next, the thank yous. Tina girl. Hey. Tina, stop. Tina, stop. Hey, babe. Do I have to get up and come over there? Or drop the brolly on you? Stop it. The heat, guys, the heat. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Okay. This is episode 42 of TrampCast. And we now come to the thank yous for the week just gone. The week ending Sunday, August 25th, 2024. Okay, on PayPal, the following 3 donations were or 3 donors sent money via PayPal. There's a Dean M, which I find incredibly amusing. Sorry, Dean. But as I've mentioned a few times before, I'm not Mike. The Delta Mike is the NATO phonetic alphabet for my initials, DM. And you're close. Dean M, you're very close. So there's Dean M. Thank you for your donation. Morning, Scruff Dog. I just about make out your avatar, your logo. Sven B sent me a that ain't cheap donation. Thank you, Sven. Now, folks, Sven is actually in the middle at the moment of driving down from Sweden. He'll be about halfway now. Due to get here, I think tomorrow afternoon, he said. Taking 3 days to breaking the journey up, but taking 3 days to drive down. So, see you soon, Sven, and thank you for your donation. And Ian A, who asked, he didn't ask not to be named, but he said he didn't need a thank you, but he's getting one anyway. Thank you, Ian. Cheers, mate. Those were the PayPal donations. Now, in the real world, okay, we had Karen. There's always Karen, isn't there? Karen and family, who brought me water, beer, oh, big bag of dog food, 16 kilogram of dog food. And she came back another day. She's taken my washing away, folks. She's going to wash some t-shirts and shorts for me. And she also brought the card that I discussed previously. I now have a prepaid debit card that I can use. Hi Andrew, I'm okay. Tina not so much. Her back legs are failing on her more and more. She's okay on the whole, but Tina girl, I was going to put the camera on her, but she's busy cleaning herself, shall we say. She's either cleaning herself or pleasuring herself, I'm not sure which. Tina girl. Tina, can we stop? But I'm okay. Tina, as I said, not so much. Well, I'll get to that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But Karen brought me this prepaid debit card thing. So now I can get access to money or go do shopping even when I don't have a friend in the country who can convert the PayPal for me. I can send it to Karen, she can put it on the card, and then I can do that. So thank you for everything, Karen. Thank you, Karen and family. Also this week, folks, Tom stopped by again a couple of times. Tom came by and brought a late night beer. He bought a litre bottle of really cold beer. I poured him a glass and a half, and then I necked to the rest, and we sat outside in the shade just after dark, or just as it was going dark, just after the flies. We got the back end of the flies being a little bit bitey, but they died down pretty quickly. And Tom also came back on Friday and brought a chicken dinner for me again, just like last week. Half a chicken, roast chicken from the market. And he informed me that he hadn't roasted the potatoes. That part of the deal, he buys those when he buys the chicken. Yeah, I've got good people around me, in person here in country now, and also you guys helping out and looking after me. Really appreciate everybody's help. That's what this entire section's about. Thanking you guys. So Tom came by, we had the beer, he came back the next day and brought chicken dinner and a frozen bottle of water, which obviously as it defrosted and melted during the afternoon, I just had an ice cold drink of water all afternoon. Fantastic idea. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. And anybody else? I don't think I've missed anybody. I hope I haven't, but that's those are the thank yous for this past week. Really appreciate everyone who dug in and helped. And if anybody else wants to help, there's a PayPal address always in the description and afterwards in the pinned comment that I will place in the comments after the broadcast ends. Always appreciate your help, folks. I don't require a lot to get by. I mean, in a typical month, 30 to 50 euros, tenner a week, more or less, sometimes more, sometimes less. The dog food was the big one, and we've just taken care of that. That's always a worry because it's a big expense at once. Now it's coming down in price, which is remarkable. It used to be 10 euros for 22 kilograms. They reduced the size of the bag, and then it went up almost to 20 euros. Still a smaller bag. But now it's coming back down to somewhere around 15. But if I can't afford to buy the big bag, if I have to buy the smaller ones, you can end up paying 7 euros for a 4 kilogram bag. You're paying almost double per kilogram if you're buying it in small bags. It's expensive to be poor. But as I said, we've just got that. We just got that on my card. Karen took the card and my money on the card, but they did the purchasing to make sure the card worked and transported the heavy bag back here in the car rather than me having to carry it on my back or pull it on the trolley. Even when you put something like that on a trolley, there's still quite a lot of work because the 45-degree incline still some effort involved. It doesn't suddenly weigh nothing just because it's on a trolley. But yeah, thank you everybody. And as I said, if anybody does want to help, PayPal information in the pinned comment afterwards and in the description of most videos. Should be all, but sometimes I forget. Okay, folks, that was the thank yous for this episode 42 of TrampCast. Next up is the themes of the week, and as I've kind of said, it's friendship, it's gratitude. I am so thankful for the help that I do get. It's the heat, just getting through this next couple of weeks. In another week or two, there'll be a storm. The temperature will suddenly drop. There'll be like a step change. It'll drop 10 degrees and it will just stay down at that lower level. It'll be 22, 23 degrees through the day, not 33. And this week, most days, whatever temperature it actually is, it feels hotter. That every day it's been like 33 degrees feels like 38 or feels like 37, or 30 degrees feels like 34 or 35 because of the humidity, the lack of a breeze, all of those. It's been a little bit hellish, to be honest, this last couple of weeks. So I'll be glad when we do get it a little bit cooler. Come here, babe. Hey. Yeah, you come for a cuddle. You come for cuddles. Yeah. Another thing for the week, guys, as I was just saying about Tina's back legs. When I've walked her to the supermarket and I can hear her back feet dragging as she's walking, and sometimes they're giving way under her. But what I didn't realise was she was struggling to pick her back feet up so much. She wasn't just dragging her nails on the surface. She was catching the top of her feet. As she's dragging them behind her, she's actually dragging and grazing kind of her knuckles on her toes on the surface. I got her back here the other day and I noticed kind of, not scars, open wounds, open grazes on all of her back toes, all of the knuckles on her back paws. Really is getting bad. It's not just not getting better, it's positively getting worse. I'm really worried. She's not that old. She's 8. And I think she's a breed that should live to be 12 or 13 years old. So it shouldn't be like an old age arthritis, rheumatism, whatever. It shouldn't be. But as I've said, she was kicked by the police a couple of times that time when they were dragging me off. That's a worry. So that's a theme. That's a theme for the week. Trying to figure a way forward with that. That's something else Karen has helped with. Karen has brought me some painkillers, and I'm dosing the dog a little bit with a mild dosage. I've looked it up. I've looked up what the proper doses are. I'm not doing anything silly. And the dose I'm giving her, you could exceed by tenfold and still be safe, according to the literature. We'll see. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But these are the major issues, the major themes of the week. There's not really a lot more to say on those, guys. Gratitude. Thank you for everybody. As I said just now in the thank you section, I'm in a position where I know I need help, and I appreciate the help that I get from everybody. So yeah, don't want to beg too much. Got to get my grift done somehow sometimes, but no. Okay, folks, it's been kind of a quiet week this week. It's been a quiet one. So I don't think we're going to be here for 3 hours like we were last week. I think we'll get through this fairly speedily this week. I was surprised how few notes I kind of had while I was writing these down. So shall we begin? Coming up for 30 minutes in. This is episode 42 of TrampCast, and we'll start with details of the past week. And we'll start, as we often do, with last Sunday, after TrampCast finished. Tina girl. Hey! Hey! Treats! Oh yeah, you'll come for treats, won't you, you bugger? Oh yeah. That'll get you to stop scratching. I'll give you one treat. One big one. Go on. Take it away. Okay, folks, where was I? This is episode 42 of TrampCast. And we'll begin, as we usually do, with Sunday, just after the after TrampCast finished last week. Basically, guys, there was no messing about. There was no hanging about. We were already being plagued by the flying vampires. The mosquitoes and the flies were all over us. I guess because we were out here that extra hour, we did a 3-hour program last week. So it was just straight inside the tent, close up the fly screens, the 1.5 that are still in place. Dog. And a quick spray of the fly spray to take care of any that are already inside. And from there I did what seems to have become a standard pattern for me. No, don't report, don't move. Sorry, Paul, I'm trying to bring your message back up and my phone isn't responding to my touch, which is always useful. I can't get that to go away. There we go. But can I bring up the message? You said you've got a dog, same age with the same problem. Diagnosis not the same, it's not good news. Oh God. Bad news, yeah? Oh no. I don't want to know that, mate. No. I know that there are some wasting diseases that are degenerative and that go that way. Now I can't get rid of them. Now I've got a menu on screen that I can't get rid of. Yeah, I know. I've been looking up some of the options, some of the possible things, and I know that there are some. I know that there are some bad outcomes if it is one of those diseases. Tina, leave people alone. Oh, can I get rid of this? No. Bloody phone. Okay, folks, I will just press on. I assume you can still hear me and see me. I've got, as well as this black overlay over the screen, I've now got a menu that I can't get rid of. It's all fun, isn't it? I don't know whether this is a YouTube app or whether it's my phone or just a bad combination of both. Okay, Sunday, went inside, flies, did my usual thing, become a bit of a routine, is to watch the TrampCast straight back again. I guess I'm just wanting to know it's not too bad. Especially with all these orientation issues and screen lock, and honestly, my phone's telling me right now, that I have to put it that way. Now the overlay goes and I can actually see the screen properly, but I'm sure that for you I'm now sideways. I can't explain it. Now I've got the black overlay again. And I still can't get rid of the menu. I don't know, folks. So basically that was my Sunday night. If you remember, it's a 3-hour show. So once I've gone inside after we finished and played that for 3 hours, and I think, to be honest, I think I fell asleep listening to myself. I put myself to sleep because as we move into Monday, I woke up at 1:30 in the morning. I woke up 1:30 in the middle of the night thinking it was morning. I literally thought I'd slept all through the night. I thought it was like 6 or 7 in the morning. I felt like I'd had a great sleep. And of course after that, I'm awake most of the night until you get to early morning, and then I start dozing off when it does get to 6 and 7. Good for nothing. Very strange night. Really disconcerting. Really disconcerting to fall asleep that early and to wake up thinking you've had a full night's sleep. And the night's only just beginning, really. So I would normally be awake until 2 or 3 in the morning on a typical night. Be awake late and then fall asleep. Sometimes you get a bit of activity, people coming and going down the road, and you kind of want to be awake and make sure nothing strange happens. Because one day this week, last night actually, something did. Something did. Okay, so my morning routine was all thrown out because waking early, thinking it was the morning, then being awake all night, then starting to nod off once you get to 6 and 7 in the morning. But I get the normal morning routine done, the doors open, the airflow, the solar panel adjusted and in the right place, walk the dog, do the basics. And yeah, it's just one of those hot days where you sat inside all day. I got my new fan that I told you about last week, the cylinder fan that's about 1 meter tall. It's a lifesaver. I wish I'd had it all summer. But it's unstable as hell. You only have to look at it to knock it over. And there's more and more pieces of plastic falling off it all the time. I suspect it won't survive the next month before it breaks because it falls, and the wrong piece will fall off or get jammed in somewhere at some point. But it's a godsend. But I do have to sit here juggling the electricity demands of the cool box and the fan and just my other devices, the phone and things, just making sure that I've got enough power left over for other things. So yeah, sitting inside a hot tent trying to stay cold. As soon as I turn the fan off, if I turn the fan off for half an hour to let the electric top up again, let the power balance, I'll be wet through with sweat. It doesn't take long. Within 5 minutes, you'll be able to see my forearms will just be wet, and everywhere else, but you can see it on the forearms. So yeah. So this day I release a couple of videos, a couple of clips from from various TrampCasts. The one from last week, and I think I was still doing some clips from the week before. So yeah. Oh, okay. Monday afternoon, I finished the beer that Karen brought me on Sunday. Those hot afternoons, folks. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Those hot afternoons, if you've got a beer laying around, it's not going to stay around too long. So she brought me 12 beers on Sunday morning, and by Monday evening, all 12 were gone. Double-handed drinking again, two-handed drinking. I got coffee in the cup and I've got a glass of red wine here. No cola left. That'll have to wait till tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, finished the beer, released those videos, the Womble video. Now none of my videos did well this week. I only got one that got more than 100 views. All the rest are stuck at like 50 and 40. Now there's a reason for it with some of them, and we'll get to that shortly. We'll get to that very shortly. But what I should have done on Monday was re-watch TrampCast 41, re-watch last week's, and I should have done the timestamps. And I just didn't. I just couldn't. I guess because I'd watched it already. Tina, steady. Steady. Because I'd watched it already, I wasn't in the mood to watch it all back again. Maybe because it was so long. So I left that for days and days. I didn't do the timestamps, the chapters as they're called within YouTube. And I also do timestamps for my own benefit so that I can clip for making the smaller videos. Which is why I left it really late this week to start releasing them from last Sunday's program. Didn't get to that until I think Friday and Saturday I was working on that. So yeah. So should have done but didn't. So into Tuesday, and for the second night, Monday night into Tuesday morning, again, woke up at 1:30 thinking it was 6:07. I was hoping this wasn't a pattern that was going to carry on. Unfortunately, it didn't. Fortunately, that was it for that pattern. But again, awake most of the night. Eventually fell asleep, but not until like 5 in the morning. So I'm falling asleep as I should be waking up kind of, well, just a couple of hours before. My normal pattern is to fall asleep kind of, let's say 3 o'clock and wake up at 7. Somewhere between 6 and 7 is my ideal. Because then I can be alert in case there's any shenanigans around the camp Exposed in a tent in a field. Some people can be weird. We'll get to it. Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night. So this was where I got up late because of all this in the night with sleeping badly. I woke the dog late and I didn't get the doors open on the tent, so it got very warm and very stuffy, quite quickly, quite early. Woke the dog, did those other usual morning routine, and this was where I released the one video that did okay this last week. The one video that actually got some views. This is the clip where I was apologising to a bloke called Cecil. His channel is Cecil Says. Cecil in English, but Americans pronounce things different. I won't start. White gravy. Where am I? Yeah, okay, the Cecil video. So I released that. That one didn't do too bad. That was my, I think that was one of my better performing ones this week. But what I did do, going way back to when I first started doing TrampCast, which is coming up for a year ago. I have to keep track of when the date is. Got to look that up. But I might have missed it already, sometime soon. But people back then were telling me that I should do audiobooks, that I should record books, and A, I lack the confidence, and B, I don't think I'd be very good at it. If you actually listen to people reading audiobooks, they have to do voices. There's like a little bit of character acting involved with voices, and a high-pitched voice for this character and a deep voice for that character, a slow-talking one or a fast-talking one. I don't really do voices. I struggle enough to do this voice. And no teeth, don't forget, so a lot of pronunciations are a little bit difficult. Anything with S's. She sells seashells on the seashore. The shells that she sells are seashells, I'm sure. All of that. Mary Anning, look it up. Mary Anning. They were fossils, not seashells. But yeah, people were saying do audiobooks, and I about a month ago I recorded the preface and then the first chapter of a book, and it sat there for another month unedited, and I fluffed a few lines and I had to repeat a few bits, and cars will drive past, or the dog will bark or something, so I have to edit them a little bit. But I eventually, on the what day went, Tuesday, I eventually got down to it and actually released those. And then after I released them and people started listening to them or watching them, I recorded chapter 2 and edited it and released it pretty much straight away. I recorded it that day, edited it the next, and released it on Wednesday. But I think I was right. Nobody's really interested in listening to me read an audiobook. I think the most watched or listened to one's got about 20 views. So we'll see. I don't know whether I'll carry on. If nobody's interested. I did Three Men in a Boat because it's A, it's my favourite book, and B, it's out of copyright. It's public domain. So I'm free to actually do it without any shenanigans. Because another thing about my recent videos, I said last week that I'd recorded an intro titles section, and let's see if I can get rid of this. Now it's gone. Now can I bring up? Okay, Stitch, catch you later. Where was I? I lost myself now. I've lost my train. I'm talking about the audiobooks, yeah? And whether I'm going to carry on. I did Three Men in a Boat because it's out of copyright. And I was saying about how I'd recorded the intro thing last week, like a title sequence. But the audio library it came with my video editing software, so I presume they've licensed it for us to use. But I got copyright claimed on about 7 videos that I used it on, which is annoying. Not that my videos are actually earning any money anyway, but I'm not. One day I might do a video that goes somewhere. I don't want to find that someone else is getting all the bloody money. So I've got to find a new audio track that's got that same rhythm, that same beat, to go with the sequence of thumbnails from my previous videos. It basically tells the story of of my time in this camp, or at least from when the channel started. I was here a good few months before that, 6 or 7. Homeless maybe 9 months before the channel started, something like that. But it's a story of as told through the thumbnails of the videos. But it's annoying that those all got claimed, and I think that might be part of the reason that my channel is not doing as well just recently. And along with that, I mentioned, so if you remember a few weeks ago, about 4 weeks ago, I went through the 1,000 subscriber barrier, and quickly, like within 2 weeks, I was on 1,100. And then it got to about 11, 15 or 16, and then stagnated. And then this week it went backwards. It would drop down a couple, gain 1, drop down a couple, gain 1. It went all the way back to 1,110, 1,110. Before Scruffdog gave me a shout out last night and got me back up to 1,114, I think it was, before we just started here. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. It's a little bit concerning when it starts going backwards. It means that I'm offending people with those sweary videos from when the tent got ripped. Probably. Okay, folks, so that was my main thing on the Tuesday, releasing those audiobooks, and yeah, trying to decide whether it's something. If you listen to chapter 2, that's the other part. If you do listen to chapter 2 of 3 Men in a Boat, you can hear the dog panting in the background. That's the other issue I've got. If I sit down to record, there's either crickets, cicadas, dogs panting, loud motorbikes going past, buses on the main road up here. So I got to find a quiet spot where I'm not too tired, and get a solid. I need an hour. I need half an hour to read through the chapter, and then once I've familiarised myself with it, so I'm not going to stumble over any silly words, then I read it aloud for the recording. So I go through it twice. But it means I need a bit of peace and quiet to do it. But check them out, see if it's for you. I don't know if you like 3 Men in a Boat. It's a comedy. It's from about 130 years ago. The book was originally published. A bloke called Jerome K. Jerome Klapke Jerome, if you could believe the K. But he was nicknamed Harry K. Harry by the press at the time when he released this book, because he was writing for normal folk. He wasn't writing for the educated masses. He was writing for normal people, and that was kind of frowned upon in the British class system. An educated man, an author, writing for the plebs. Hi Julie, I'm okay. Tina, she's kind of okay in and of herself, but her back legs are getting worse. We've got a worsening situation with her health, I think, which is concerning. Okay, folks. So yeah, that was my Tuesday, releasing the audiobook, and I don't know if I'll carry on. It depends how many people listen to the video. It depends what the feedback is. As I said, I only did it because people early on said that they liked the sound of my voice, said that they thought I should record an audiobook. I eventually, after a year, gave in and gave it a go. You be the judge, and you shall be, you and the rest of the interwebs. So, folks, into Wednesday. As I've already said, I recorded chapter 2 of the book on a Tuesday. And on the Wednesday, I've only written one note for Wednesday, and that was that I edited that clip, that reading that chapter, and released it as a video. That's literally my only note for Wednesday. So all I can tell you is it must have just been a long, hot, boring day. Me sat in the tent with my new fan, new to me, trying to keep cool and trying to balance my electricity needs. Can't have been anything else have happened on the Wednesday, otherwise I would have written something about it. So, into Thursday. See how quickly we're getting through the week. We're going to be gone soon. Now, Thursday was interesting. It started, I've mentioned in the past a guy I watch online called Nick Rekieta. Became a little bit famous during some trials that were going on. The Johnny Depp trial and I had his name in my head a minute ago. The young lad, the 17-year-old that shot 3 guys during the Black Lives Matter riots, protests, whatever they were. Nick Rekieta is a lawyer, and he's really good at commentating and explaining the law, and he was really good at bringing other lawyers in to help talk through the points while these, if you've ever watched a trial actually being televised, they can be pretty boring. They're pretty dry and hard work to get through. But he was there talking and kind of annotating, if you like, commentating through these big trials like the Johnny Depp and whatever her name is, the lass that shit the bed. Well, I'm not supposed to be swearing this episode. Amber Turd, that's right. But Nick got really famous. He had over 100,000 people watching his streams at times. I made a lot of money and built his channel up. I mean, he already had a really successful channel. If you look at the people who earn the most through super chats on YouTube, he was always in like the top 10 and sometimes the top 1. But he had some problems of his own recently, where he got hello Andrew. He had some problems of his own recently where he some rumours went around his town. The police got a search warrant, raided his house and found what they say are controlled substances, and they took his children away for a couple of months. And he's just got them back, and they're just beginning the preliminary things of the court case, some of the preliminary hearings. And he popped up on Thursday morning online, bloody discussing his case, which is still ongoing. He should know better. But he seemed really happy about everything, and he seems to think that he's going to get the search warrant overturned, and if that happens, the entire case will fall. And half of the prosecution's case, they've already admitted they've obtained illegally and are agreeing not to use that evidence. So it was interesting, and it's kind of fascinating. I like watching how the law works and sometimes how it doesn't work or how it gets misused or abused. So fascinating stuff. But that, I'm watching this, is like a 2 or 3 hour stream starting at 6 in the morning. So that throws off my schedule with all the things that I say I have to do in the morning. Opening my doors, getting the airflow, getting the solar panels set up, walking the dog, all the... oh, excuse me. Threw off all my schedule, but it's fascinating stuff. But you wonder how sensible it is for him to be discussing his case while the damn thing's still ongoing. These are just preliminary hearings. The case is still months away. We'll see. I just find that really interesting. That's fascinating stuff. Okay, later that same day, my friend Ismo popped by. I think it was going to be a longer visit, but I think he got a little bit early. He had to go home. He was only here for half an hour in the end. But it was good to see you, Ismo, if you're out there. And like I said last time, we'll have to have a few drinks sometime soon, and it's got to be my round. It's got to be my turn to buy the cans. Let me know when suits, bud, and we'll arrange that. Okay, Thursday I eventually did the timestamps for last week's TrampCast 41. I eventually did the did the timestamps, and I clipped I did a rough edit, a first edit of some of these videos, like when I released the numbers section, and I did the RIP for Alan Delon. So these different sections, the thank you I clipped, but I didn't finish editing them for release. It was just doing the timestamps, doing the initial rough edit, and preparing for their release, which would probably be the next day for most of them. Now this is the night. Just as it went dark. This was when my friend Tom turned up, and he brought, like I said earlier, he brought a litre of really cold, ice cold beer. Tina girl, can we stop? Stop. You coming for another cuddle? Come for a cuddle. It's not a cuddle you want, is it? You want another treat? Oh gosh. No, hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Just wait a second. I'm going to show you to the peoples. If I can work the camera. This is where I dropped the brolly last time, wasn't it? Here she is. The treat. You're going to take that? Rah! Where are you going? Right. Here's her back legs, folks. Really unstable. Like when she tries to squat down for a pee, she'll often just fall down. Back legs are just becoming... And look, she's kind of standing on her toes. If you look at her back right, she's not standing on the pads of her foot. She's standing on the top of her foot. That's better. That's better. Now I can't get the phone to look back to me. There we go. We got there eventually. See if I can put my sponge back on the... back over the microphone. That's my girl. That's my girl. Just hoping it's nothing too serious. Where was I? Wow, my friend Tom turned up with his frozen, with the freezing cold beer, ice cold beer, just after dark, or just as it was going dark. So we sat out here for a couple of hours and just, like I said, I poured him a glass and a half of beer, and I necked it from the bottle, and we just sat and chatted for a couple of hours, and then he headed back home. But he offered, because it's Thursday night and it's the market on Friday morning. He asked me, last week he brought me half a chicken, if you remember, half a roast chicken and some roast potatoes. He asked if I wanted that again. Oh yeah. So there we go, that's Thursday night and into Friday morning. And I'm waiting. I got my usual morning routine. I got everything done and dusted as it should have been. And I'm waiting actually on both Tom coming around at some point and Karen is going to come round. They were going to bring me some bits and pieces. And Tom got here first with the roast chicken and the roast potatoes. And just as he left, he brought me a frozen bottle of water, which, as I said, I was able to allow it to thaw, and I was drinking ice cold water the rest of the day. As it thawed, I'm just filled in the bottom of the bottle. Fantastic. Really is a good way of having a cold water all day, rather than bringing just cold water which warms fairly quickly. Having it frozen just worked really well. Thank you, Tom. But just as Tom left, and I mean, he got to the top of the road and he turns off to the left, and less than 60 seconds later, Karen arrives. So they could have all met if they'd just timed it a little bit better. But this is where Karen arrives, and she's let me see if I've listed everything she brought. Yeah, they brought me six bottles of water, 6 8-litre bottles of water, 3 baguettes, a chorizo picante, spicy chorizo, and she also brought me the prepay debit card that I've mentioned a couple of times. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And And this is where also they arranged that she'd come back the next day and take a bag of washing. Thank you, Karen. 2 bags in the end. We'll get to that because that's the next day. But the most important thing that they brought, the most important thing was obviously the 16 kilograms of dog food from my girl. Hey babe, 16 kilograms of dog food from Auntie Karen. Yeah, Auntie Karen. Yeah. She's looking round. She's looking for Karen. Another day, darling. Another day. But yeah, fetching the dog food so that I don't have to. I used to carry it back from the shop on my back, but it's a kilometre, and it's downhill all the way back, but it's still a kilometre with 16 kilograms on your back and a dog pulling and generally being a nuisance. So then I got the trolley from Harry and Jill, didn't I? And but it's even better if I don't have to be out in the sun if someone else brings it. Much appreciated. Thank you, Karen and family. So yeah, the rest of the day, long, hot, boring, inside, with my nice fan. But again, balancing the electric, I can't have everything on all day. If I have the cool box on, see the fan only takes 20 to 30 watts, but it's AC, which means putting the inverter on, which has about a 30 watt overhead. So I'm using 60 watts really if I put the fan on, 50 to 60 watts. And then if I've got the cool box on at the same time, and that's using 40 to 50 watts, we're up around 100, 110. And the panel's only bringing in 60 or 70 on a typical day, 60 or 70 watts. So there's some management involved and, have to be careful. Have to leave myself enough power to power the phones and the speakers and the other bits and pieces that I've got in there. I'm doing well, guys, considering that this place got flooded way back and I was left with no electrical things working at all. I'm building up quite nicely. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to you guys. Getting the EcoFlow and the solar panel, which I did with money left over from the tent purchase, from the tent donations. That's you guys. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. It really has made a big, it's a step change in my life, in my lifestyle here. Okay, folks. So Friday was long and boring, just sat inside, trying to stay cool. Now Friday night, if you know anything about me, yeah, the Clippers fan, all of that. But there's just an overhead for having the inverter on. Where am I? Friday night equals Friday night tights. And if you've been here long, you know that means that out of a 4 or 5 hour program, I watch about an hour before I fall asleep. I don't know when this started. I always used to watch the whole show. It was when Joby arrived in the field. And I started waking up earlier in the morning and we'd sit out and have coffee at 8 or 9. So having to be up and about and out already. I think I lost my ability to stay awake at night as much. Disrupted my pattern at least. So what happened this week was, I watched the first hour of Friday Night Tights. I fell asleep and I woke up just as the main show was finishing on YouTube, but they now do a bonus hour over on Rumble because they've become aware, like many YouTubers, that if you've got all your eggs in one basket, YouTube can just pull the plug like that. They can pull the show, they can demonetize it, it can be totally gone. So a lot of YouTubers now are operating on multiple platforms. Basically, YouTube with their over-censorship, still can't say it, it's these teeth, or lack thereof. YouTube are creating their own competitors. They're kind of fostering the hate and forcing people onto the other platforms, onto the other providers. So anyway, I fell asleep during Friday Night Tights. Woke up in time to switch over to Rumble and watch the bonus hour. Eventually, I'll go back and watch the 3 hours in the middle that I missed. But yeah, like I've written here, YouTube are kind of causing their own demise, or at least empowering their competition. Okay, Friday night into Saturday morning, usual routine. But as I said before, Karen called around. She dropped off a couple of bits here. She dropped off some painkillers, which, as I said, I've researched a little bit, and I'm gonna dose Tina with them just to see if I can alleviate this thing with her back legs. To be honest, the way it's deteriorating, I don't expect it to work, but now that I've got more of the tablets, I can maybe go a slightly higher dose. But she dropped off those. She dropped off a UK to Spanish electric adapter as well, because mine, I got what she gave me one previously, but the front and the back separated, and I can push it back together and put a plug in, but I can't easily then get the adapter out of the socket. And it's obviously, you got something that's 230 volts AC, and it just comes apart in your hand, and there's exposed metal, and it's a little bit dangerous. It's a little bit, the health and safety executive, or whatever your equivalent is in your various countries, they wouldn't approve. Health and safety would not approve of the situation. So she dropped off another one. She said she had spare. So she also, though, was taking away a couple of bags of washing for me, which is nice. Guys, when I've been struggling for water, if you can imagine, if I wanted to wash 3 or 4 t-shirts, I would need 4 or 5 of these 8-litre bottles of water. And I just haven't had the water to spare. And now I've got this kind of supermarket water, this spring water. I don't really want to be pouring in expensive shop bought water for doing my washing. And so Karen kindly offered to just throw it in the machine over there and bring it back. So thank you again, Karen. Thank you. Now this is where I kind of got into my stride a little bit with the editing clips from last week's show. I said that I'd done the timestamps and I'd done a rough edit of each on the I think on the Friday, but on the Saturday I actually did the proper edit, tidied them up, and released them. And nobody watched them. I think I'm in YouTube's bad books a little bit. I think I'm in the bad books a little bit, folks. My videos just aren't really happening. I released the numbers section, the thank yous, and the rest in peace, the RIP for Alan Delon. And quite aptly after the RIP, I guess, my videos all died a death. I don't know. So in the afternoon, Saturday afternoon, I chatted with a few folks, had a bit of a catch up with a few people that I'd not spoken with in a while. Something I usually do on a Friday, but for some reason this week it just passed me by. So I had a ring around, or a WhatsApp or a messenger around with a few people, just say hello, keep in touch, and check on how they are, and some of them see when they're coming over to Spain. And this is when I thought Sven would have been here already, but from my memory, but I was misremembering, and it turns out that Sven's, he's currently driving down, literally as we speak. Hello, Sven, if you're listening. I doubt it. You're too busy driving, mate. But it's possible, I guess. Okay, so Saturday afternoon into evening, and my Saturday nights. There's no Big Clive still. BigClive.com. Big Clive is still working on the Edinburgh tattoo. So Scruff Dog has manfully stepped into the breach. And there I was a few minutes late into Scruff Dog's hangout kind of stream. And we all just had a great chat. Good atmosphere, good bunch of blokes and ladies. yeah, a good bunch. And discussed a few topics, like the main one, the NASA fiasco with Boeing, and the 8-day astronaut trip that has currently been 8 weeks, and by the time the astronauts get back, it will have been 8 months. An 8-day trip to the International Space Station. Those poor buggers are going to be there 8 months before they get home. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. But this, while Scruff Dog was on, this was where I had one of my little weird incidents. Suddenly, I can't remember exactly what time, somewhere between midnight and 1 in the morning, I think, someone or something was rustling my tent, shaking my tent, or I don't know what, but it was like directly behind me. I was in the far side in the bed, and just behind me, and I was a little bit slow to realise what was happening. There'd been a bit of a breeze, so there'd been rustling, but no, this was like a positive, like a shake of the tent. I was a little bit slow to get up, put my shoes and get out. The dog was barking. I was trying to stop Tina from doing her damage and destruction thing. So all in all, by the time we got out and had a quick look around, the only people anywhere around, there was a guy and a dog further down the road. And he was looking back, all weird and suspicious. And I was looking at him all angry and ready to hit somebody. And then I noticed that he's got a kid with him. So I don't know, there was no one else anywhere else. My working theory at the minute, to give benefit of the doubt all round, is that maybe his dog was off the lead in this field and his dog was next to the tent. I don't know, because normally if that was the case, my dog would have gone wild sooner, like earlier. I don't know, it was just weird. But I almost had a confrontation out on this road, and I only really let it go because he had a kid with him. I would have challenged him otherwise. I was angry. Yeah. See, this is why I'm always fully clothed. You know, even when I'm in or on the bed. Through the day I might take the t-shirt off because, you know, it gets too sweaty and hot. But other than that, I'm ready to go. I've got my shorts on and whatever, and my shoes, just quick slip-ons, and out I can come if there's any shenanigans. And I think it was someone being funny on balance. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt and go with the dog route, but there are some people here, obviously, that don't want me here. I've said how some people walk past and look the other way, and occasionally there are people come past and pip horns in the middle of the night and stuff. Some people don't want me here. So there could be shenanigans. There could be. But I try to give the benefit of the doubt and assume it was the doggy. But anyway, I come back inside and I go back, I re-enter the Scruff Dog stream, and Scruff gives me a bit of a shout out, and I get my numbers. So the start of the week I was on 1,116 subscribers, and I said it fell back down to about 1,110. Scruff gave us a shout out last night, and I regained 4. So thank you for that, Scruff. I don't know if you're still there, mate. You're probably off doing your gaming stream by now. But yeah. So that was Saturday night and into Sunday morning. 2 a.m. dog walk, because she couldn't go while we were actually out already at midnight or 1 o'clock, could she? She has to wait until afterwards. And this is where I switch over and I put Ethan Van Sciver on, which I've talked about him in the past. He's a guy that draws the comic book artist. He did a 7-hour stream last night, which I had on as background noise, but I basically slept all the way through it. Woke up this morning and caught maybe the last hour or two. But yeah, that was the night. Now this week I did something different with my Sunday morning. I actually started writing these notes, my TrampCast notes, I decided to start them earlier so it wouldn't be a mad panicking rush at the end. It still was. All that happened was that I filmed like 8 hours preparing instead of just 4 or 5. Crazy. Was it Parkinson's law? Work expands to fill the time allotted? I think that was C. Northcote Parkinson, American economist, I'm going to say. I think that was his law. What's the other one? The other one's the Peter principle, isn't it? Where you rise to the level of your ineptitude. If you're good at a job, you get promoted until you're no good at the job, and then you get left stuck in a job that you're no good at. That one's the Peter principle. Work expanding to fill the time allotted or the time available. Parkinson's law. Fairly sure. It's been a few years, but there you go. So yeah, my Sunday was TrampCast notes. While I was going through the notes, I made a list of all the videos that have been released this week, and I used a tool to help me compile the list. And while I was going through, it identified that I'd missed a step when I'd created one of the videos. I'd not put any keywords in. So that helped. That was one thing that I got. But, oh, here's one. I discovered this morning that I'd knackered a battery last night. If you remember, I've told you about these AAA, and I've got some AAA and some AA batteries that have got a USB slot on the side. And you just plug the USB cable in and they charge directly from a USB power source. I did something last night that with hindsight, it was a bit stupid. I kicked myself, really. I plugged 2 of these batteries in while they were still in a device. So the device has 3 batteries connected in series. This is where it goes wrong. Because they're not normal batteries, you can't just be putting a charge through them and have them charge from what's coming in. But I'm putting power directly into 2, but the third one is connected in series with them. So it's got an active circuit, it's taking charge, but it's not designed to charge that way. I think I've blown one of the batteries, one of the 3 batteries, and I could kick myself because when you think about it, it's not a normal battery. It's not just going to charge off of the others. Normally, if you had 2 batteries that were powered and one that was lower, they'll balance over time. The power will leak from the 2 charged ones to the and they'll kind of top up. But I think I killed the circuit. I think I busted something with this one. It now isn't in. No lights are flashing. It doesn't look like it's taking a charge, and they did get hot when I kind of stopped charging and took them out. They were all 3 were kind of red hot. So I did something stupid and wrong. The 2 that haven't blown, I've probably reduced their capacity or done something. Tina, no, come on back, Tina girl. Hey, come on back. Hey, come back. Leave the people alone. It's just a man and his dog. Leave them alone. Okay, folks. Okay, so by noon today, even though I would normally only start writing my notes at noon, but because I started earlier, I started like somewhere around 9, on and off, so I could give myself little breaks and actually carry on watching some YouTube videos and stuff. Because I need my phone, I have to read the text file to write this stuff out. But at 12 when I would normally be starting, I'd been working on it for 3 hours already and I felt like I was behind. Crazy. It's that Parkinson's law again with the work expanding to fill the time allowed. So yeah. So at 3 p.m. I created the graphic, the thumbnail for this. And I think at 3 I tried to create the stream. Oh God. The YouTube app. Oh, the pains. You have no idea the trouble I go through to make this thing work. It's not easy using the YouTube app on a phone. It used to be better. And then of course I started the stream and I get this orientation is locked, rotate device back. I don't know, guys. But that's us bang up to date. If you could, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. The only thing left to kind of discuss is what's upcoming, and I have no idea. Sometime around now is the anniversary of when I did the first TrampCast. If I can think of some topics to talk about, when we actually hit the anniversary or when I become aware of it, we might do a special, a standalone TrampCast. I might try and do it later in the evening, maybe even in the night, to try and allow other time zones. Maybe make it a little easier for our friends over the pond. I don't know. Or maybe I'll do a couple. Maybe I'll do one on like a European time zone and one suitable for our cousins in the on the other side of the pond, the Americans and Canadians. I don't know, folks, but that's sometime soon. I haven't worked out quite when it is, but it's very near. We might even have missed it. But other than that, it's survival. It's just more of the same. Yeah. Let me see whether I can actually access chat. Oh, I can. Oh, look at that. It lets, just as we're about to finish, it lets me into the chat. See some of the messages that I missed earlier. I think I saw most. Okay, folks. Unless anybody's got any questions or comments, I think we'll wrap up there. We're done, I think. That was the week that was. That's TrampCast episode 42. The meaning of life, the universe and everything. Yeah, auto rotate is on. It let me into the stream. It would normally give a warning beforehand if something was wrong, if the orientation was set wrong. It let me in, and as we started 2 seconds in, then it brought up the bloody warning. I don't understand it. I think it's just the YouTube app on the phone. But I'll have to have a dig around and see whether anyone else is reporting the same difficulties. It could be my phone. My phone is starting to have all sorts of weird and wonderful issues, as you know. But all the settings are right for rotation, auto rotation and everything. Okay, Andrew, glad you enjoyed it. Jack Attack, catch you next time. Everybody else, bye for now, folks. We'll try and do the, if Tina will oblige by not scratching or licking any of her delicate bits, we'll try and finish in the traditional manner. Tina girl, no. Come here. Tina, treats. From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike, out. Awkward moment.